long as you're moving in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Um, we're going to build our economics. We're going to build our mind. We're going to build everything we need to build to be good Muslims and to be faithful. So I'm just glad to have you all here. And I'm going to yield the Sunday school over to our Sunday school teacher, our Grand Sheik Maurice Pennington Bey.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I give praise to the author, the creator, the governor of all the worlds, who is almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. Allah be his most sweet and holy name. I give honor to the angel of Allah, the man who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah, the man who did come and did redeem man from the sinful and fallen stages of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. He is our leader, our teacher, and our brother man, the illustrious Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to the forerunner of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the man who was to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in this era of time as John the Baptist was to the Prophet Jesus in the days of old, Brother Marcus Mosiah God. I give honor to all the holy and the divine prophets of Allah because all the holy and the divine prophets of Allah taught Islam. I give honor to our two flags, the American flag, which is the flag of our birth, and the Moorish flag, which is the flag of our descent. These two flags together, they represent us, the clean and pure nation of Moorish Americans. I give honor to our one of authority, which gives us the authority to promote and practice the teachings of all the true, holy, and divine prophets of Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honor to the vanguard of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Sisters Auxiliary of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to all the true and the faithful members of this Moorish Science Temple of America. And I give honor to all the literature prepared in due time by the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali for the uplifting of fallen humanity. Because where would we be if we did not have the Prophet's holy and divine instructions today, Moors? Where would we be? Islam?
Islam.
It is a custom in the Moorish Science Temple of America whenever teaching a group of Moors, wayfarers, sympathizers, or just plain seekers after the truth, that one take a reading from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of his Father God Allah. And I'll be taking my reading from the same chapter, chapter number 23, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. And I'm going to read instruction number 1. Islam? It says, consider thou art apparent the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Islam, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. All right. The chairwoman opened the meeting, elaborating on, for me, what was a beautiful experience. I praise Allah. I praise Allah for the opportunity to finally be able to be here in the world with the Asiatics in the world who are going through life and what life has to throw at us, and just to be able to contribute my portion, you know, but to be able to have young people, teenagers, young people who have yet to, you know, really know what challenges that they will face, even though these particular young people have already been challenged. They've really been challenged by life already. You know, they gave us some of what they have been personally going through, you know, how they have, you know, had these emotions welling up on the inside of them that before coming into the Moorish Science Temple of America, I have to commend them for the way that they have been dealing with those emotions already without the proper training. Islam?
Wow.
I remember when I was young, okay? I remember not understanding my own personal feelings. I remember not knowing, you know, why certain things was happening, not being able to define moments, okay? Being confused in those times. And for me personally, I turned to the streets. I turned to what the streets had to offer up in order for me to cope with those things that I was going through that I didn't know how to define. All right. So for us to be here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, being armed with tools that we can therefore pass off to our young children so that they don't have to be moving through life blindly. We know that there are many foes, unnumbered foes that you absolutely have to face. And to be armed with these holy and divine instructions while facing these foes is an advantage, Moors. It is an advantage. That's why Sunday school is so very important. We have been blessed to be here in this sacred grove and to be taught. We have been blessed because so many people, they not here, Moors. As a matter of fact, they don't even know that there is a door open to them where they can walk in and receive holy and divine instructions that will help relieve the stressors that they have to face. Okay? So for us, it's important and it's essential. It is our duty to take these lessons and then go out there and to extend this same teaching that we've been blessed to get from Allah through his holy and divine prophet to our people so that they can better deal with life, because life gonna life. All right? Trust me, life is gonna life. We're gonna go through some stuff, Moors. We're gonna go through some ups and some downs. And it seemed like as soon as we start to deal with the economic issues, the poverty issue, when things start to get right, then here comes some other type of some form. The foe takes on many forms. You know, our relationships start to crumble in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? Just all types of things. Cars start to break down. The sink don't want to work right. All types of foes just going to come and evade and be so intrusive in our life. But we can prepare for those foes, all right? We're going to study this chapter right here. Because even though it says holy instructions for thy children, remember, what did Mathino tell John? You can never tell the people to do what you yourself have not done. Islam?
Islam.
So we're going to digest these instructions so that we can communicate them to the young and the innocent ignorant for their instruction. But right now, we're going to do this for our own improvement. Islam?
Wow.
All right. Partner body, somebody just said that they can't get into the meeting. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that everybody who wants to be here gets the opportunity to be here. It's not working for me.
Open the door.
That's right. Over the most say open the door. It's long. Give me 1 second, Moors. I don't know what is going on here. Let me click on. Yeah, this is going to a phone number. Islam. Okay. Hopefully that problem is solved. I read instruction number 1. Instruction number 2. Upon thee also it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, a useful or a worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction and season his mind with the maxims of truth. What does this stuff mean to the Moors? What we gathering so far from these first 3 instructions?
Islam, take care of your own. Make sure they get what they need. Plain and simple.
Islam.
Because the world got a program and the prophet got a program. We got to let the prophet program win.
Islam. Y'all hear that?
Prepare them early.
Islam.
I think
because,
also, when it says, the opening keyword says, consider thou a parent, thou points that I trust, it being thou is produced, it's thy biggest support. But then it comes back on verse 2 and says, upon thee also dependent whether the child thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, a useful or a worthless member to the community. So my understanding from that is, it's our duty as parents, for us producing the kids to support them, but also if they're a blessing or curse to themselves or a worthless member to the community, it's only so much you can do.
Islam. So the brother Ricardo Bey pointed out, Hornbuckle Bey pointed out that it said to prepare them early, because what happened? What are some of the possible consequences of us, preparing them later on in their life?
Their lowest take activity.
Islam.
They too ways, and or they may have done something to get themselves in trouble where you can't set them right.
Islam. Islam. Okay. We live in a society right now today where at what point does crime fighting take place in our society today?
Elementary school age, as young as 8 and 9.
It should, shouldn't it? As a matter of fact, it should start a lot sooner than that. It begins with as soon as the child is born. As soon as the child is born, you start to delete the possibility that they can adopt criminal thinking, when they're young. You wanna prepare them to not start thinking like criminals when they are young. But in society today, crime fighting tends to start at the scene of crimes. Islam?
Right, after the fact. Islam, yep.
After the fact. The crime has already been committed. Okay? We have to be better. We have to start fighting crime right at home at the dinner table with our children, especially our young teenagers right now who will be heavily influenced by what they are being fed on social media and on TV. Islam?
Islam.
Instruction 4. Watch the bent of his inclination. Set him right in his youth and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. Okay, we're gonna deal with this instruction. All right. The Prophet Noble Ali instructs us to watch the bent of his inclination. What does that mean?
To watch his habit, his actions.
Islam. Give me an example. What are we watching for?
Like just say as a younger child, if you see your son hitting his sister or brother, or you see him angry, breaking stuff, things like that.
Islam. That's right. Okay. What about if you have a young daughter and she tends to be a little too loose?
Looking for that too. Too friendly.
Okay.
Showing or size.
Okay. So how do we deal with this? What do we do?
We set them right. We get them
by example.
Islam. Because all of these are learned behaviors, ain't that right?
Islam.
Now, when we say lead by example, we are not the only example that our children have, are we?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Now, understanding that you are one person, right? You are one person. The world is full of people. And these people can reach your child's mind. Okay? They can reach your child's heart. With that being the case, how do we combat the bad examples? How do we protect our children from the bad examples when we are only one person?
We gotta be stern with them. We gotta watch what we let influence them. We gotta watch the people they're around. We gotta watch the stuff that they see on social media and any type of media outlet. We even gotta start to watch the type of school they're in and the type of message that they're sending out. That's why a lot of people start homeschooling.
Islam. Okay, I want to read this instruction again. So the Prophet says, watch the bent of his inclinations. Inclinations, multiple, plural. Set him right in his youth and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. Okay, it's a key here. Are all of his or her inclinations going to be toward bad habits?
No.
Okay, now we find the key. Okay, this is how we become the most powerful influence in the lives of our children. Know what they desire, know what they like, know what they want to be when they grow up. Okay, feed them arm them with everything that they need in order to strengthen those good habits, in order to move them in the direction of their righteous desires. So when the prophet tells us to watch the bent of their inclination, he's telling us to watch what they love to do, watch what they're good at, understand their passions and their desires. Islam?
So,
She say, be more involved with your children. That's right. That's right. Okay? Islam. That's right. Be more involved with your children. And I'm going to go even further and say more. Be more involved in all the children around you.
Islam.
Islam. Be more involved. Okay? Consider this. You got a daughter. This little boy who's going to grow up to one day be a man with man's desires and man's passions might very well start courting your daughter. So what you need to do is everything that you can do in order to help this young boy grow to be the type of man that you wouldn't mind at all spending the rest of his life with your daughter. Islam?
Islam.
Okay, this is how we have to start to think. We building a nation. Okay, this is what we doing. We are building a nation, and the nation is comprised of the families within it. So if those families suck, the nation going to suck. It's going to be weak. It's not going to be able to do for itself. Islam?
Islam.
Instruction 5. So shall he rise like a cedar on the mountains. His head shall be seen above the trees of the forest. What that mean? What does that mean?
He'll be on top.
He'll be on top. But what does it mean to be on top? What does that mean? Because this is a child. What does that mean?
He'll
He'll be able to influence other children. Like,
Islam.
or be on top, he'll be able to show other kids that the light. They say once you see the light, you'll be the light.
And you'll walk in the light.
And you walk in the light.
That's right. He will be a better example to the youth. That's right. See, when we raise strong children and we season their minds with the maxims of the truth, those children go out and they influence other children. Okay? So just by being a good parent to your child, you actually become a great and good parent to all the children around you. Okay? I remember when I was growing up, and I don't know if this is always this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna speak the truth. Okay, Hornbuckle Bay and Jackson Bay and Perry Bay, they can testify to this. When I was a young person, without trying, I was able to influence other young people around me. Okay, young people, they follow. Some older people follow. But I wasn't leading them nowhere that people needed to go. Okay? When I was a young person, if I would have had these lessons as a child, I would have been able to impact my community for the good. As a matter of fact, it would have been neighborhoods full of Moorish Americans. Islam, sister, you got your hand up. Demonstrate.
Islam, I didn't mean to cut you. I wasn't trying to cut your wisdom. Islam, I first rise giving holy praises and honors to our Father God, Allah, the Father of the universe, also Allah, the Mother of the universe, the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Islam. I wanted to just kind of give my measure on what you're saying. As a parent, we don't get a book to tell us how to be a parent. We could just be the best that we could be. And be the example. We're not going to be perfect. So when you see me even say what I say, be the example, you can show up as your best self for your children. So as they grow older and they see you will, it's like the prodigal son coming back home. That's what I would call it. And so, you know, just do your best. Just do your best to do it because they will follow. Now, they ain't going to always follow exactly what you say, but if you can be that, because I hear a lot of little children, they'll say stuff to their mom like, but you had 5 boyfriends. And you'll be like, oh, you didn't even realize your baby was looking at that. So you got to watch what you're doing around your children too. Don't think because they're little that they're not seeing what you do, whether a brother or a sister. Islam. I just wanted to kind of give a measure on that. So we can be the best we can be. Islam.
That's very, very important. Let me tell y'all something. Young people are very, very smart. They are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. You know, they understand what they seeing in their own measure. And when we turn around and look and we see our children doing things that we don't think that they should be doing, you best believe that they learned it from some dog on the adult, and that adult probably was you. You know, I can say this. My son, you know, was hurt very, very bad by doing drugs. Okay. My son started smoking K2, he started smoking spice, and that spice damaged his mind to a degree that I'm telling y'all, none of y'all want to have that experience. The reality is, when I go back to the past and I just smoked blunt after blunt in front of my child, I drank liquor in front of my child, I did all of these things like it was all right to do. So when my son, you know, got old enough to make the decision that he wanted to do these things like it was all right to do, he learned it from his daddy. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like he didn't. And today I have to deal with the consequences of that. And I'm telling you, you do not want to have to bear that type of weight. Islam, Brother Parker is.
Islam, just real quick, just to piggyback up what you're saying, because what you're saying is 100% facts. Because me and my son's mother had a conversation the other day, and she curses a lot around my son, and she plays, you know, certain music where I don't feel is appropriate for him being 10, just turned 11. And like I told her, you know, I don't curse around my son for that reason. And if I do, I correct myself and I say, sorry, son. And I don't listen to certain type of music. I might listen to some laid back, some jazz or some R&B, old school R&B. Cause I want him to feel love. I want him to know love. I don't want him to know all of that because it's coming. He'll be in junior high next year, and we all a certain age, so we all know with junior high, it changes the game when you go to junior high, elementary to junior high school. So I had a conversation with my son's mother, and she basically turned it around on me like, "Boy, you just got in prison and da 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 da." Yeah, but I'm trying to do right, you know. And I'm not trying to repeat the cycle with me, with my son. So I just wanted to, you know, get my portion on that. What you saying is 100% fact, Islam.
Islam. You know, one of the most valuable lessons that we could teach our children, that they can change their mind. All right. Teach them that they can make a speedy reparation. You know, it's all right for your child to see you change. As a matter of fact, it's a powerful lesson for them to learn, especially when they start to see the consequences of your change. Okay. A lot of young people are doing certain things and living a certain way, trying to live a certain way right now, because they observing people in the streets and they observing people on these social media outlets living a certain way. At least that's what they think. And they see them doing that. They see them having money. They see dope boys out in the streets being able to buy things and have things. They are seeing, you know, our young girls are seeing these other young women on these social media outlets wearing no clothes, and they feel like, hey, they get to live life the way they want to live life because of the way that they are behaving. So I'm going to behave this way so that I can live life the way that I want to live life. Where when they see you change and they see you start to be responsible and they see you start to live according to principles and you're starting to have these things and living life the way that you want to, and them being your children, they are impacted positively by this. They realize then that they can be like their mother and their father, and then they can still have the things that they want. All right. So it's important. That's an important lesson for us to teach our children, that their mind is theirs and that they can change it when they want to. Islam?
Islam.
All right.
Islam.
Instruction. Islam. Instruction.
Islam.
It's
Demonstrate.
Excuse me, Grand Sheik. I
Demonstrate.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Interrupt the Grand Sheik whenever you get ready. Demonstrate.
Um, that goes into basically with generational curses that we have to correct when it comes down to our heirs. I know growing up, I watched my mom a lot and a lot of things that she did. And I can tell now as an adult how much it has affected me. And even when it comes down to my relationships and my relationships when it comes down to my heirs. So, what I have been actively working on is to correct all of those things. Not saying she was a bad mom. She did what she thought was right because she learned from her mom, and so on and so on. And so I am correcting those things so my sons and my daughters can have the best example of the type of woman they should be with when they get older and the type of mother that my daughters and that they should be and the type of women how they should carry themselves be. And I just think that's really, really important when it comes down to, I guess, with correcting yourselves as parents. We have to look at the traumas that we went through as children. We have to look at even the traumas that our parents went through that they unknowingly passed down to us. And we have to heal that part to be the best parent and the best guide that we can be for our heirs and start teaching them as they're young, when they're young, and even within the womb, start instilling the knowledge to them. I yield.
Islam,
Islam.
Islam, Islam.
Islam. That was great teaching. You know, the ability to teach a child while the child is still in the womb is real. As a matter of fact, some of the lessons that I learned in the womb stay with the child for their entire lives. Okay. One of the major things that hurts our community, Asiatic people here in America, is the trauma that mothers go through while they are carrying children. Okay. If you look in the Moorish Science Temple of America, in the Islamic community, we do not eat animals that have been slaughtered. Okay? There's a reason why. Because when that animal feels that fear, because they can sense that somebody is pursuing them to kill them, then that adrenaline that's in that animal, when you eat that flesh, that goes into your body. Okay. The same way when the woman is so, fight or flight while she's pregnant over and over and over again, that feeling gets into that child, and then that child carries that with them throughout the whole course of their life, unless they come to a master who is able to help and aid them unpack that trauma. And you know what happens? While they live in their life, they have this trauma that they're carrying around that they don't know how to cope with because they can't even define it. And then they start looking for coping mechanisms. And most of the time, these coping mechanisms is drugs, it's alcohol, it's other, negative, what we consider addictions. There's a reason why people who do drugs and drink, people don't just do it and they know that they're killing themselves. They're not just, out to, everybody's not just out to hurt and harm themselves. They do it because these things help them to cope with trauma that they don't know how to deal with. And a lot of times that trauma comes to that child in the womb. Okay? Trauma is real and trauma is damaging. Let me tell y'all how damaging trauma is. Trauma is so damaging that if you go to a substance abuse rehabilitation center and you are filled up with trauma, you get into that rehabilitation center and you start to put the drugs down, and as soon as you get out of that rehabilitation center, convinced that you are all right, that you have been cured, the moment you relapse and re-experience that trauma, what you think gonna happen? You're gonna run right back to that drug. We see it happen in our communities every day. Each and every last one of us probably know somebody who done been in and out of rehabilitation centers 4 and 5 and 6 times. And people don't know why. It's because they ain't rehabilitated, they ain't got rid of the trauma, which leads them to use the drugs or to drink the alcohol. Okay? And again, a lot of times that trauma comes to these people in the womb.
Yes,
all right. Good teaching, sister. Latebe, you had your name up, you had your hand up, and then Sister Jackson Bey. Islam.
I would like to say this. A lot of people, I'm an instructor to balance the chakras, right? So in the chakra courses that we do, we talk about coping and processing. There's a difference. A lot of people are just coping and not processing what's going on. So when you learn how to process, that's the difference of just coping. So it's we're actually having to teach our people how to process through their trauma. That's why from mirror work to shadow work is very important, because you got to go back and you got to go forgive the little person. You got to go back and forgive that person that was hurt. It's not their fault. So that's where mirror work and shadow work come in. They're tools to help to tighten up, to help you really see yourself. Because a lot of people can't even look at themselves in the mirror for too long. If you stood there and looked in the mirror, you'd be like, oh, I can't look at myself. But learning how to sit there and really go in, because that's the window to your soul. So you got to tap into the little person and go back and forgive them for the things that you thought that was their fault, and it never was. Whether molestation, regardless of what it is, you have to go back. Even women, if we've had abortions or any of those things, you got to go back and heal that wound. You got to go back and talk to that wound. Even if you've miscarried or any of these things, there's still imprints that sit there, whether you have a uterus or not. It's still there. The memory's still there. The thought is still embedded in there. So these are different tools that we can use to help better us. Islam.
Islam. Sister Jackson, Sheik Jackson Bey.
I wasn't fit to say nothing. I was fit to call on those Sister Latebe. I saw her hand.
Islam. Good teaching, good teaching. Okay. It says, a wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doeth right is an honor to his gray hairs. The soil is thine own, let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shall thou reap. What do these things mean, Moors?
When it say a wicked son is a reproach to his father, is reproach means disappointment. So it's saying that a wicked son is a disappointment, but when you do right, you honor your father. He's more pleased.
Islam. Okay. It says the soil is thine own, let it not want cultivation. What does that mean? Islam. Demonstrate more.
Not to cut you off, but just to piggyback off of what she said. Back then, your father used to tell you.
We camelbacking over here. Ain't no pig.
Camelback. Gotcha. Just to come up off that, your father used to say, "Don't give me gray hairs."
Islam.
So just to see that in writing is like, okay, so maybe he was reading this book.
Islam.
Can I say this too?
Absolutely.
Sheik, also, to know how to care for our elders, if we just go study that stork. We got to go study the young stork and watch how he puts his sire under his wing. He makes sure he eats, he takes care of him. Like, so those lessons too need to be, even if you didn't have the best parents and you feel like it was their fault, your world was horrible, still, you have to go back and take care of them. That they did the best they could do, the best. Islam. So I wanted to make a point of that while you were there. Like, our example is that young stork. Going to check him out. Go out there and study him and see how he moves. Islam.
Brother Hornbuckle Bey, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, Islam. I had something to say. I wanted to ask the Grand Sheik, when did you give your son the lessons? When were you? At what age did he receive the lessons from you?
As soon as I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, I started to communicate these lessons to my children.
And how old was he?
When I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, my son was 9 years old. He was 9 years old. The problem with that was that by the time I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, I was in prison. So I wasn't able to be a consistent example. My son wasn't able to see Moorish science, unfolding in me. He wasn't able to bear witness to the change, And by that time, sadly, growing up in the streets, you grow up fast. Okay. So a 10-year-old growing up in the streets, in their mind, they're almost an adult. A lot of times when it comes to a lot of things, they have made their mind up, So that's why it's important for us to understand the Prophet Noble Ali's fundamental principles. Okay. The Prophet Noble Ali said that the fundamental principles are obedience to law, respect, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. These are the things that he said are for the civilization of our posterity. Now, let me tell them more something about civilization. Civilization is a state of mind. All right? The Prophet teaches us in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America that the keys of civilization are in the hands of the Asiatics, the Moorish. The key to becoming civilized mentally, to become social, not antisocial, but social beings, is in our hands, okay?
Islam.
So my child was not able to observe that I was no longer a snake.
Right.
Okay, because the people that was around my children would tell him, your daddy is Snake. Snake is a real live street dude. Snake sold dope. Snake did these particular things. Okay, so this is what my son thought his father was, even though I was transitioning. I was becoming a Moorish scientist, but he didn't see that. So by the time my son realized, when my son joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in 2019, my son became a member of Temple Number 5, headed by Sheik Maurice Bey. Okay. My son went into the temple and he took out his nationality. And my son told me, he said, Dad, I'm ready to join. And I was like, join what? I was afraid. I was hoping that he wasn't talking about he wanted to join a gang or something, but I come to find out that that had already happened. My son became a gang member when he was a young person. All right. But my son told me, hey, Dad, I want to join. So he went down to Temple Number 5. He joined Temple Number 5. And the thing with my son smoking the spice in the K2, he had got a job where, he couldn't smoke weed. And he started smoking spice, And these synthetic drugs are very, very dangerous. Drugs in general are dangerous, but these man-made drugs they're incredibly dangerous. And I bear witness. My son now suffers from severe schizophrenia. He got agoraphobia. He has antegrade amnesia. He's bipolar, and he's delusional. Okay. You all do not want to go through this. All right. Eat this book. Teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Most of all, that they will learn to love themselves. Okay. They will learn to love themselves, and then they will refuse to hurt themselves the way a lot of our young people do today, hurting themselves, just trying to go along to get along.
Islam, well, I'll check it out, right? I want to go back to instruction number 3, where it says, prepare him early with instruction and season his mind with the maxims of truth. I'm not going to say I was fortunate enough or lucky enough, but you had sent me these lessons when my son was way younger, like when he was just starting kindergarten. So I was on him. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't drilling them like a drill sergeant. You know what I'm talking about? I was giving him space, letting him do his thing, but he was watching me and I was watching him. You know what I'm saying? I was doing like the prophet say, watch the bend of his inclinations. But what I'm getting at though, the ending of this, and I'm gonna yield, is that it says that a wicked son is a reproach to his father. So, yeah, you know my son, it's like he don't have not one lower self, speck of lower self in his body, man. You know what I'm talking about? And then it says, but he that doeth right is an honor to his gray hairs. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at my gray hairs. You know, just fall back. You know what I'm talking about? Islam, all you.
Islam. And you know something? That's, I'm gonna say this. You know, a lot of blessings is service. All right? A lot blesses his service. Islam.
Islam, I wanna camel back with you, Brother Hornbuckle Bey. When a Grand Sheik introduced me to the Moorish Science Temple of America, I had the privilege to watch my 2-year-old grandbaby stand in Temple 5 before the Grand Sheikess and proclaim her nationality. Literally, we nicknamed her Baby Mobitis, and it was so proud. It was a proud moment that I always said, I wish I had this in my youth, my young years, my toddler years, something. But to see my grandbaby, my first grandbaby, do that, it was a pleasure, and I instilled the tools in her. And I am now 3 grandbabies in, and all the 2 behind her came in as Moorish American children. My grandson was taken through his baptismal rites in the temple. So it's like, as soon as we get these lessons, we got to pass them to our children, pass them to our grandchildren, so that they don't make the same mistakes we have. My son was able, while he was doing a 5-year, while he was going through court, facing 51 years, he not even for a real, taking a cell phone and beating somebody up, him and his friends, he was with somebody who took the cell phone. So in him fighting for them years, he was able to get introduced to the Moorish Science Temple of America. And instead of him getting them that long time, he only had to do 5 years. He came home with that Quran in his hand. When I picked him up, he had his Quran in his hand, and he's now about to be married, and he's about to have his first child. And he's still following the teachings. He redo houses, he remodeled houses. My daughters was able to get these lessons in high school. But with the guidance that they got, they was able to change their conditions. I had a daughter that was suffering from anxiety and suicidal. She was a cutter, and I didn't even know it. But once she got these lessons, she started to learn about her higher self. So these lessons is a game changer and a lifesaver. So no matter how late we get them in life, we need to pass them immediately so we can change the conditions of ourselves and the people around us.
Islam.
I see Sister Latanja Bey hand up. I'm gonna call on you, sis.
Islam. I wanted to point something out because it's so amazing to give our children and us the accolades, but also the Prophet talks about this in weakness on instruction 18. So blended is weakness in thy nature.
That's right.
O man, that thou hast not strength either to be good or to be evil entirely. Rejoice that thou canst not excel in evil, and let the good that is within thy reach content thee. We need to teach that to our children also. Like, that's an important one. Very important. Because no, you may not always be the most No, there's some evil in there because we're admixture. Please don't forget that lower self is there. If you don't notice that it's there and know that it can act up, then you're not going to notice it when it rises up. You got to know this lower self well, because the lower self will start navigating and dictating to you how to move in your life if you're not careful. So we got to be careful when we're using that we're just good, and we've been good. Like you said, Grand Sheik. I know I have. Me and my ex-husband were big time weed smokers, and I'm like, that's why my children smoke so much marijuana. I'm looking at what I did. What did I do to add to that? You know what I'm saying? Even being a great mother and you being able to come and talk to me and giving you the tools that you need. Like, we give them tools all the time. At least that's what you should have been doing anyway. You were probably giving Moorish Science from the beginning and just were unaware, because I was living Moorish Science and didn't even realize it until I came into the temple and started learning and unfolding the lessons. So we just need to know that it's there. So don't raise them up too high, because like you said, we got to watch the bits of their inclinations, because they're still going to choose their paths. Just because of what we've done, we can't answer for them. Like I tell I can't go into Allah and be like, hey, I'm their mom. Even though he did this, but I'm their mama. He gonna be like, girl, they ain't got nothing to do with you. They got to answer for themselves. So you still have to understand, even once you're giving them the tools, they're still gonna decide which way they want to go. Islam,
I also want to say something, and then I'm gonna let you go, Hornbuckle Bay. Is sometimes, you know, they say out of the mean, the bad come good. So we got to look at this situation for what it's worth. You know, we get honored to you, Grand Sheik, for you finding and becoming a Moorish scientist. We hate that it was at the cost of you having to leave your family, your loved ones, your children. But out of the good of that, you were able to help other families find more science. You was able to give us the tools to save ourselves. So again, we hate it came at the cost of your family and loved ones and time put away. But that just means this time right now is way more important, because not only me, Hornbuckle Bay, Sister Perry Bay, not only have we been around more than probably your half of your lifetime, but you know, it was tools we all needed, and we wouldn't have got that had you not been there. And even more people that's on this call that you steered in this grove today, and even left the groves to go, you know, do their own journey and path. So we do have to recognize sometimes, you know, it starts off bad, but right now I think it's victory for us. And I'm gonna go ahead and let Hornbuckle Bay go, and then pass it back to the Grand Sheik real quick.
Yeah. Islam, I just wanted to say gratitude and you know what I'm saying, give gratitude to the Grand Sheik Maurice Pennington Bey. You know what I'm saying? Because man, Mo, you went through it. We both went through it for sure. I know that for sure, but we saved a lot, Mo, and we still doing it. You know what I'm saying? We helping a lot, Mo. Just gratitude, Mo. That's it.
Islam, Morris. All praise due to Allah. Man is sure to find himself where he solves his problems best. And Morris, trust and believe that everything that I went through, everything that we go through, we woke up this morning, Mo. Allah is all mercy, Mo. Allah is all mercy. And Allah is the best planner. You know, so all of the experiences, everything that we went through, those things right now help us to understand, you know, what life truly is and what life is really about. Okay. And it's a beautiful thing to have survived so much trauma. For everybody here, okay? Everybody here, everybody on this call, you know, has a testimony. Everybody here has been through some stuff, okay? All of us have overcome life storms, and we're still engaged in life, and we in the ring. We standing up to life, okay? We're not afraid of life because of what we done already overcome, okay? So we here together, and we doing this work together, and we are blessings to one another. And this instruction that we've been given by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali has been given to us for a divine purpose that has been come down from God. It's fate that we be here. The Holy Quran say that it is not strange. There are no happenings. Law governs all events. From olden time, it was ordained that you should be here with us in this sacred grove and be taught. From olden times, it was ordained that we would be here. Okay? Everything that has happened prior to today led us to where we are today. Here right now, studying Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We are right now today receiving instructions. We are being blessed to study and learn these degrees right here, Moors. Okay? This stuff is deep. This stuff is, let me tell y'all, It's so many people who have these Qurans right now. And sadly, they don't even know what to do with it. They don't even know what to do with it. They don't even know what it is. Okay? But it's made clear to us. We are here and able to help one another understand this. That's a blessing. Allah is real. Allah is truly God.
Islam.
He's truly God. Okay? And he got many names. So ones is studying these degrees right now, but it didn't even come in this form in this book. I seen something on Facebook earlier today. I was watching, and the guy had a picture of Levi Dowling in the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. And he said that Moorish Americans, that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we consider the Prophet Noble Drew Ali a prophet because he divinely prepared the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America, and we shouldn't. And that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali should have acknowledged that Levi Dowling was a prophet because he prepared the Aquarian Gospel. There's some things wrong with that. It goes to show how broken our minds can be. Okay, because first and foremost, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali never said that Levi Dowling wasn't a prophet. Allah loves everybody more. He loves everybody. Allah is going to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to receive the lessons that they deserve and that they need. It don't matter. It don't matter where they at. The pygmies in Africa are going to receive these lessons more because they need it. The people in China, they're going to receive these lessons. They're going to receive it in language that they can understand. It's going to come from people who speak their language, who understand their condition. Okay? So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali never did say that Levi Dowling wasn't the prophet. We are all Muslims. In Islam, we know that no one knows who all of Allah's prophets are, but we give honor to all of Allah's prophets. Okay?
Divine.
We also know
Wow.
that the prophets that we do know, not even 1% of them came with a book. So we never said that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet because he gave us Holy Quran. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't give out Qurans until 1927. He had already been doing his work. He had already saved many lives. He had already taught Moorish Science to many sheiks. He taught it from the Bible. We taught it from the Holy Quran. So it's not something that's on us. It's not something that we wake up in the morning and put on. It's in us.
That's right.
It is in us. We come with this stuff. And the reason why our women are so important in our culture is because of their ability to draw out what's in, because that's what women do. That's what that female energy does, Morris. It pulls out what is in. It educates. It educes. This is why it's important for us to understand that the harmonies of life, the balance, we have to work towards making this balance real. Okay? It's mental. It's mental. See, academically, ones is confused. They're confused about their own nature. All right? So since they confused about their own nature, then we should not be shocked and surprised that they confused about who the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is and who the Moorish Americans are. What the Moorish Americans are. What does it mean to be a Moorish scientist? All right? So this right here, what we read in chapter number 23, this right here gives us a lot of insight as to how do we become a Moorish scientist and what it means to be a Moorish scientist. Let me tell y'all that all of the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America are not Moorish scientists.
No, they're not.
Sadly, they are not Moorish scientists. All right? It is my desire, it is my duty and one of the objects of my life to make sure that each and every last one of you, if you are not already, becomes a good Moorish scientist. Islam?
Islam.
All right. Instruction number 8. Instruction number 8. Teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. How are we blessed by our children learning obedience? How does that bless us?
Less problems. They listening. They learning. They doing what they supposed to do. Less problems. Less stress.
Islam.
Can you repeat that one more time? Islam.
I said, how are we blessed by our children being obedient? We teach our children obedience. They bless us. How?
They bless us because when they go out into the world, if we've taught them obedience, when they do go out into the world, they're going to conduct themselves in a certain way. That's
Yes,
what that
right.
obedience is, because you're teaching them to live that. That's where obedience comes in. You're teaching them to live that. As I told you before, homeschooling my sons before homeschool was a thing. My oldest is 32 years old, so I was homeschooling a minute. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want them to be caught up in European psychology. I need when you come in my door that you learn about you. And no matter how that was supposed to be, that's the difference between us and other cultures. When their children come home, my Chinese friends went home, Vietnamese friends, they learned their culture when they got home. A lot of us went home with a latchkey around our neck with nobody there. You feel me? I couldn't stand being a latchkey kid. I was like, where's my mom? Why she's not here? So when I took on as becoming a hairstylist, getting pregnant at 19, but taking cosmetology in high school, I said, oh yeah, no ma'am. I need to be at home with my children. I don't want them coming home by themselves. And I ended up with 4 boys. Oh no, I'm not leaving 4 boys nowhere by themselves. Are you serious right now? You know what I might come home to? I could come home to anything at this point. I had to be smarter than them. I had to be like, all right, let me figure this out because I can't let y'all get me. So the importance of that. So that obedience really is just when they go out, because when my children would go to school, didn't matter if they were at an all-European school when they did go, or if it was an all-Asiatic school. The teachers would always go, I have never met no children like this in my life. Where did they come from? And I'm like, because I didn't play that. You don't go to school and act up. Your teacher like me, she don't make enough to be your babysitter. So sit there and pay attention. Pay attention. Islam. So those are the ways that I raised mine. And that's why I could come off so hard and like, I might have a lot of energy when I speak, but I raised boys. I couldn't be like, oh, go to Thailand. For real. Like, so given that they're like, as they're growing, they're still learning. They fall off, they do their thing, but they like, dang, mom, thank you for being rough.
That's right.
So Islam, I yield the floor. I'm done talking.
Islam.
To come back to that point, the children are a reflection of the parents. To the sister's point, when they go out into the world, and that's where the blessing comes from, right? They obey, they're following everything that you've instructed them to do. When they go out into the world, it reflects back, right? To her point, when the teachers say, man, I ain't never seen no children like this, like these children are amazing. That's a reflection on the job of the parents. They did their job, good and faithful servant. Islam, are you?
Islam.
I want to come back a little bit on what Ricardo Bey was saying about teaching him obedience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Teach him obedience so that he can obey, Drew Ali and obey these lessons and obey Allah. You know what I'm saying? Like my son, he like 5 or 6, kindergarten, preschool. I was on him then, but he would come home like, Dad, I got this homework to do and blase. I'm like, all right. So when his mom chilling in the room and whatnot, I'm like, man, let me get that homework. He'll give me the homework. And I'll throw him a lesson like, here, read this. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to write these all these questions in the questionnaire. You know what I'm saying? I still got everything, but that's how I used to get down. I would write left-handed. I'm right-handed. I write left, sort of look like his writing. So we give it to his teacher, but it worked. I mean, he still got good European education, y'all. Don't get it twisted. I did my thing, though.
Islam. I want to camel back off of all y'all. It's important that we also teach ourselves obedience and we teach ourselves that these lessons and actually follow through with them, because it's one thing to be at home teaching your children these lessons and esteeming them, and it's another thing to just be at home and you sitting on the couch all day watching soap operas and your kids just run around being bad in the neighborhood and being bad in the household. You don't know what's going on. So we got to make sure it's important that not only do we want obedient children, we are the children of someone as well. So we have to esteem ourselves. We have to teach ourselves, and we actually got to be the message that we bring, or we can't expect our children to be something that we're not.
I want to bless y'all with something real quick. All right, y'all ready for this? Sister Cleo Celine Bey, where you at, sister?
Islam.
Okay.
She's so dope, y'all.
Islam, beloved. What do you get from these instructions that we done read so far?
Some of the instructions to me are like very interesting, but some are also familiar because I think I remember reading this part of the Quran when I was younger. And I actually do have it in the red binder of mine. But it also found out that even each one kind of relates to each zodiac as well.
Wow.
Show us, give us an example.
Though I don't remember exactly which zodiac it was resembling. I know like with the obedience. There's one for obedience, one for loyalty, one related to health. Basically, how to properly teach a child how to take care of themselves. And it doesn't matter what zodiac you are, but you can still take care of yourself and use those elements within so you can get through this twisted world we call life.
Islam. That's one of our Quran students, y'all. That's one of our master students in the making.
Islam. That's beautiful. So good to have you. So good to hear your voice. It's very soothing and beautiful. And welcome to the family of nations. I mean, that's just beautiful to see that, y'all. You know, that's what we need, though. We need these young ones, and she's right. Come on, we got to pay attention to these energies. Everything's a tool. Nature, zodiacs, all that's tools of who we are. And each one of us carry each element in us. So it doesn't matter which one you are. And these lessons, I did a whole song. I have my friend transition. Actually, the day you got out, Mr. Maurice, that's what made me almost cry the other day. That my friend, my friend, he transitioned. He was a big time music producer. And I think he did this before he passed because he always wanted me to go in the studio and do Moorish Science over a beat. So we literally did the Holy Covenant, and I also did the 12-step ladder to say we need to teach ourselves. In my song, it was like, I need to teach me obedience. I need to teach me prudence. Pointing back to me because I'm still a child. These lessons are for children because you a certain age don't make you not a child. We have childlike minds.
Everyone has an inner child, honestly. We just tend to block it out.
Islam.
That's what most of the time we're taught.
And I want to say we are a temple full of babies and teenagers, and that's something you don't see often. So I'm so proud of Missionary number 9 and, you know, the stance we take and how we are able to sustain our members because, you know, truth don't change or don't pass away. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of. We are a temple full of babies, so we can pass our torch. And I want to also give honors to her mother on the call, Sister Amanka, Kira Dixon Bey. That is her mother. So it just shows you we got families in here, Morris. We got families, we building families, we sustaining families, we helping families. We are Moorish kin. So together, man, all of us, even us 14 on the call can make a difference if we go back and tell ourselves. Let's just tell ourselves this today. When I come on this call Sunday, I'm gonna bring a friend. Let's make next Sunday bring a friend. They don't have to say nothing. They don't have to come on camera. Just listen. Because when you listen to what resonates in your soul, you ain't gonna help you. You can't help but to stay. So let's just esteem ourselves with that and be blessed that we are a temple of children. And I yield back over to the Grand Sheik.
Islam. Can I say something before you finish, Grand Sheik?
Absolutely.
I want to say gratitude to y'all for your work and all that you're doing. So much gratitude. Grand Sheik Maurice, the one thing I can say about you, I gotta give you your flowers, as I always say, because you make everyone feel involved. You don't discount anyone out. You don't try to make it seem like it's just you. I gotta definitely give you your flowers on that because you really are about building a nation, not building for yourself, not for your own carnal desires, but you're really doing the work. And I would say, I love it. And I'm gonna say this before I yield and get out the room because I've been here many times. I notice you. You was walking with the prophets the same time I did. So Islam, and I so much gratitude to meet you again in this lifetime. Islam. So peace and love to y'all. Y'all keep doing this work because it's needed. And I can't wait to see what happens. Islam.
Islam. Thank you very much. I want to say this. We are Moorish Americans, okay? And this is a lesson about Moorish Americans that is not taught enough. We are Moabites, Moors, all right? The modern name for Moabite is Moroccan. The Prophet Noble Ali say, why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. We are not from Morocco. We come from God, y'all, all right? So to be a Moorish American means that you are the child of God. So we are all children. So absolutely these instructions are for us. Okay? Understand that that's what it means to be a Moorish American. Moabite means seed of the Father, child of God, children of God. All right? That's right, Brother Ricardo. Children of one Father. That's what it means. Okay, so when the prophet Jesus says to the people, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you have to be like these children. That's what he meant.
Islam.
That's what he meant. All right. Islam. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Teach him modesty. Let me tell y'all why. So a lot of us, you know, we like to brag about where we are. All right. You know, more, hey, you know what? Man, I'm an adept. I'm a sheik. I'm a grand sheik. I run temples. I teach Sunday schools. I got all these degrees. The most important steps are those first steps that we take. Okay? Obedience. All right. The Vanguard Hornbuckle Bay, he pointed out that we are instructing our children to be obedient to these holy and divine instructions. You know what that leads to them? Do you know what that does for the world around them? Do you know with not only what you are giving them, but what you are giving to the world by teaching your child to be obedient to these instructions? He say, all power in heaven and earth is mine. To you, I give all power in heaven and earth. That's what you did. You gave him all power. Okay. Now then he say, teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Because modesty keeps us fresh in our learning. It allows us to become master students. We live in an ever-evolving and expanding world. That is the reality. The ethers change every moment. And when conditions change, power disappears. Do you want your child to be powerless? No, you want your child to be able to adopt new power to meet the new condition. And in order for them to do that, they have to be modest. They can't get stuck in their ways, because guess what you can't do? You cannot put new wine in old wineskins lest they burst. Lest they burst. So there has to be a constant renewal. It has to be a consistent renewal. And in order for that to happen, modesty has to be a part of the soul. So when one learns modesty, I mean really learns it, and to know means you be what you know. So when one learns modesty, they will never be ashamed, because they don't have to worry about falling on their face. Islam, Sister Latay Bey.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you just said something. That old wine in new skin. And our people not understanding that was that religion they sold to us. That was the new religion in our old skin. We anxious. We bursting right now. We like, hold up, that ain't we ain't, wait a minute, hold up. So when that new wine, that new religion came from Rome and Christianity came, that was what they put in us. And even in Ethiopia, that's what split it. Half took the new religion, the other half stayed Muslims.
Islam.
So we gotta even understand where that comes from. I am so grateful that you pointed that out, so you can understand the wrestling that you're going through. Somebody put something new in old skin, and your old skin is like, hold up, I'm more ancient than this. This ain't right. Take this out. It's like the people in the wind. When they were ripping off from Eveline, they were ripping off. Can you feel a brand new day? That's what is happening to us. The whiz, that is happening. We are stripping ourselves. The chains have fallen. If you don't know that song, Break Every Chain, go listen to it. Every chain is being broken, and we hear them falling. And y'all need to understand that I promise you, it's an army rising up, and we ready. We ready as a family, not as individual temples, not as individual people, but as a family of nations. We ready to take this world on, and we didn't come back to play with nobody. Islam. I love y'all. I will see y'all later. I love y'all. Peace and love.
Peace and love, sis.
Islam. All right. Instruction number 9. Teach him gratitude and he shall receive benefits. Teach him charity and he shall gain love. What does this mean?
And the same shall be recorded in a book for that purpose.
Teach him gratitude, Islam.
I would say for gratitude, right? There's an old saying that one of my old friends used to say. He says, gratitude increases your capacity to receive more. When you're grateful for what you have, gratitude is like an open hand. See? Ungratefulness is like a closed fist. You can't receive. But gratitude is like that open hand that continues to receive. So when you're grateful for what you have, it gives you more room for increase. All right? So you.
Hold up. Come back.
Islam.
Come back. Give me an example, right? Okay, because understanding is a knowledge of the lower self, the sensing of the powers of man himself. So give me an understanding of one with a closed hand. What does it look like?
A closed hand looks like waking up and hating everything around them. Oh, I gotta wake up today. Oh, I don't like the room that I'm in. Oh, I don't like the fact that I gotta go to work. Oh, I don't like the fact that what I'm getting paid. Oh, I don't like. That's ungratefulness. That is what ungratefulness looks like. And we got to remember, like the Quran says, call forth worlds by the words of his mouth.
That's right.
So what you're speaking ties, it goes into creation, right? It goes into the law of creation, and it actually brings about those conditions. So when you begin to speak, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, guess what's going to show up in front of you before your face, right? The exact same thing that you're speaking. So that's what that closed hand of ungratefulness looks like. But if we wake up and we say, oh, praise Allah, I woke up today, woke up with 2 eyes, I can see, I can breathe, I have a family, you start to find more things to be grateful for. And then what it does is it puts you in the state of gratitude and allows you to attract more of that energy to you. That's the science right there, right? So that's a part of the seek ye first, the kingdom, and all things will be added. See? Are you?
Islam. I think the Vanguard, Brother Parker, you was about to say something more?
Yeah, the second part of that key, where it says, teach him charity, he should gain love. I believe when that comes with charity, a lot of people, I'm going to give it when I got it. But it also comes when you don't got it and you still give it. What you give back, the love you give back. A lot of, like, example, when we was in prison, and you know how this is more, sometimes you got your ups in prison, you got your downs, but I always try to help the brothers out. And people be like, man, well, you crazy? Why you keep giving? Why you keep giving? But the whole time I was down, I never wanted for nothing. All praise due to Allah.
Islam. You got your hand up, Sheik?
Islam, Grand Sheik. I would like to also camelback and add that charity is the act of giving. It is not simply giving money or monetarily. Right. Charity can be giving someone an uplifting word. Charity can be giving a smile, right? I saw a video maybe last week. There's this lady, it was on social media, where she would walk around the grocery store and she would call the brothers, like they got the, that hard law, that look on their face, like, no, nothing is going right. And she would be like, King, you look amazing. You look fantastic. Right. If nobody told you today, that's a form of charity. And to see the brothers from a frown flip right upside down, all of them, right? It's like an experiment she was running, but all of the brothers it turned that frown right upside down. That's a form of charity, right? I know we always think of, monetarily giving, but it's the act of giving is charity. And that's where the love comes from. Islam, are you?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. It's very important. You just pointed out, like people, when we think about charity, that's right. People think about, how much money do I have to give? And that just shows the carnal attachment. Like we are so carnally attached to carnal things. All right. And we have to break that hold that this carnal life has on us. We have to start to, try and seek to understand the spiritual aspects that is truly life. The Quran, it says that if life of man at any time began, a time would come that it would end. So it's getting us to try to understand that life itself is an infinite thing, which means that it has to be Allah. It has to be God. All right. So now when we start to observe life from that perspective, from the infinite perspective, we start to see things to appreciate even when conditions aren't favorable. Okay. When I learned that there was something for me wherever I found myself, then I would always know that there was something to appreciate wherever I found myself. They sent prime example. They sent me back to the halfway house. All right. I had to go back to the halfway house and I had to stay in the halfway house for 30 days. I get to know Brother Parker Hill. We get to hang out and we get to know one another and we get to build bonds of affection. Okay. So here go ones think that they are punishing me for doing the right thing. I know that I did what was right. You understand me? And here come Allah blessing me. And in Allah blessing me, he blesses all of us because I have been given authority to actually present this one to the body. Y'all see how that works?
What I tell you, Moab, what I tell you.
All praises due to Allah.
What I tell you when I dropped you off, I'm like, man, don't worry, Mo. That means you get to drive on some more brothers and get some more brothers up out of there. Break that chain. Islam.
Islam. Set the captives free, Mo. Islam. All right. Now listen. I want us to draw on this next one. Islam. Brother Park, you got your hand up.
My bad. Just to piggyback real quick.
Stop it, Mo. Hold up. We ain't doing no piggybacking.
You and this pig. You and this pig.
We ain't doing. We go camel ride. We ain't doing no piggybacking.
You and this pig.
Islam, Mo.
But it's even more. What's even more deep than that, what you just said. I wasn't supposed to be here either, Mo. I went to house arrest and got into it with my ex, and they sent me back here. So it's both. It's Allah. It's the only thing I can say because I wasn't supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to be here, but now I got a temple. Remember when we first draw? I told you I hadn't been going to the temple my last spot because, the Grand Sheik there was teaching false teachings, and he drew people away from the temple. So I hadn't been going to the temple for like the last year, of my incarceration. So, I had kind of fell out from the lessons and fell from the teachings and, started drawing back more into my lower self. But, when the Sheik was working here and she told me, yeah, the brother here, the Sheik, he's here. And then we first got to draw, but we was missing each other because you was gone and I was here. And then you came back and then I came back, all praise due to Allah.
That's right.
Oh, no strange habits.
Man, Allah playing so good. Allah playing so good, Mo. Allah is the dopest, straight up. We're gonna do that like that. Even though Allah be life in me so bad, I was ready to see him. I'm talking about see him in the ring. Okay. Instruction 10. It says, teach him temperance, and he shall have health. Teach him prudence, and fortune shall attend him. All right. What is temperance, Moors?
Restraint.
What'd you say, Mo?
Restraint.
restraint. Islam. Give me an example.
Moderation.
Give me an example of utilize the temperance.
Sure. Let's say somebody's trying to cut weight, right? They're in the gym, they're working out. Their nutritionists tell them they need to ration their portions, right? Your plates are too large. You need to ration your portions. So that is a form of restraint, is reducing the portion, or moderation, reducing the portion or how much you're actually intake or how much you're eating. Because what we understand is that, I mean, it's true for everything, is that too much of anything can kill you. See, even, you could even drink too much water, drown your heart. That's a thing. See, so doing things in moderation, demonstrating temperance, restraint, right? That's key.
Islam. Okay. What tool in the workshop of the mind is used to demonstrate temperance?
Compass.
The compass. That's right. And we use the compass to do what?
Draw circles around our passions and desires.
To do what?
The righteousness.
To keep them in the bounds of
righteousness.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Good. So give me an example. What happens when we draw this circle around our passions and our desires? What does that allow for us to do now?
Keep them in moderation.
But what does it allow for us to do? What can we now do once we complete this circle? Once we have drawn this circle around our passions, plural, desires, plural.
Focus on what's in the circle.
Focus on what's in the circle. That's right. We can actually pursue these passions and desires with all of our energy because they are righteous. All right? That's what it does. It allows us now to turn all of our power and send it after these passions and these desires. And we don't have to worry about, if whether or not we are right. We know we're right. Islam? Islam. All right. All right. Teaching prudence and fortune shall attend him. How?
Well, prudence is like being cautious, a judgment, disciplining yourself. So if you can do those things with your life, of course, fortune is going to follow because you're going to discipline yourself to attain those things. You won't be distracted or swayed.
Okay. Give me an example. Give me an example of being prudent.
Spending,
Okay.
Spending, finances. Some people work paycheck to paycheck and the finances is not adding up. You spending it before you even get it, versus if you get your paycheck and you disciplined and you're utilizing the tool, like what we do for the temple, is making money while the money sit there. That's discipline. That's putting your money to the side. I don't know what it's called exactly. You or Brother Ricardo Bey can say the word. What's the name of what we using for the temple finance?
That ain't for everybody to know.
Well, anyway, like how you use that. It's sitting there collecting money. It's gaining interest on the money that you spending. That's discipline. That's discipline to let that sit there instead of just spending what you have. It's sitting there accruing more money for you. So if you can discipline yourself, if you can discipline yourself to do better, to make better judgments, it's gonna benefit you in the long run and be fruitful.
That's right.
It's just like a CD. It just stacks and it grows.
That's right.
To Camelback, I would add having a plan in place. I had an old friend one time. He said, "Make sure that you have a plan for your money, because the money will fly from you if you don't have a plan for it." And specifically in the line of work that I'm in, that prudence is called due diligence. See,
right.
due diligence. And what diligence entails is doing the market research, right? Doing the research on the people behind the product, the track record, right? The success of the team. All of that goes into due diligence, and that's a way to be prudent or cautious before you enter any type of business relationship or any type of investment. You have to do the background check and a deep dive on that background check. I know, some years ago, on social media, right, where people fall into to these investment schemes, right, like the flower investment scheme, where it's just a cycle. People continue to put their money into this thing, and then it ultimately doesn't work because the person at the top is raking in all the funds. So people are just coming into this investment flower, and nobody's actually seeing a return on their investment. That's an example of not being prudent and just seeing things on the surface level and jumping into it, right? It's kind of like, I thought of chapter 3 when it came to mind. It said, lovely to the eye, pleasant to the smell, core full of bitterness and gall.
Right.
That's why you got to do your due diligence. You got to be prudent, be cautious. Moors, Islam.
Islam. Okay. It's we also have to be prudent in everything. All right. We have to be prudent in everything we do. If you want to start a business, if you want to start an organization, if you want to even going to go get a job, relationships, friendships, associations, they all have to be, met with prudence. Okay, for our sisters, it's very important. Every single solitary woman in the Moorish Science Temple of America should have a very, very adept working understanding of prudence. Islam, all right? Because it moves before her steps. All right, that's important. That's very important. All right. It says, teach him justice, and he shall be honored by the world. Teach him sincerity, and his heart shall not reproach him. How does justice bring honor to the just individual?
What man does for man, he does for Allah. And when man honors man, he honors Allah.
Islam.
That's right. That's right. And Allah rewards his servants.
That's right. Praise Allah.
Right. Okay. When we read in scripture, you're gonna see it's something that commonly occurs when you read in scripture about people. Okay. When we first are introduced to Noah in the Bible, it says, and he was a just man. All right. He was a just man. So him being a just man, according to this story in the Bible, he and his family were allowed to avoid the perils of the flood. Okay. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it talks about Ravana. And it says that he also was a just man. You understand? So now in him being a just man, he was able to do what? To receive the wisdom of the child, even though he didn't quite understand it. All right. He still was given charge of this incredible child who has so much wisdom to teach. Islam. So justice is important. But Parker is.
Also, the right here where it says, teach him sincerity, in his own heart shall not reproach him. That's integrity.
That's right.
If I could do something and you might not know it, and the sister might not know it, but I know it. So I gotta live with that. You know what I mean? So it's like his own heart shall not reproach him. You won't be disappointed with yourself. Like the sister said earlier, look at yourself in the mirror. Be able to look at yourself in the mirror and like what you see. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. If you look up the word integrity, one of the definitions of integrity is whole. All right. So the root word of integrity is integral. Okay. So an integral part is an essential or very important part or portion. So if one lacks integrity, then they are actually incomplete. You understand me? They're not a complete person. All right. So that's very important. So to lack sincerity in the way that the Mo just demonstrated it is to be incomplete. Islam.
Islam. And I
Islam.
would, to camp.
Oh, go ahead, Brother Ricardo Bey.
Islam, thank you, Sheik. To add to that, I went up from my military school background. They used to drill into us a definition for integrity. And they said that integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is looking.
No one is watching. That's right.
Islam.
And when we come into Moorish Science, we realize that someone is always watching action. In fact,
Islam.
because Allah, man, the one.
That's
So
right.
wherever you go, there Allah is. The universe, Jesus said that Allah I speak about is everywhere. So
That's
even
right.
though man may not see it, you see it and Allah see it at all times.
That's right.
So that should be enough to hold the Moorish American Muslim to a higher standard of integrity.
That's right.
Islam. I'm gonna call sister, the young sister Cleo Celine Bey. Go ahead, sis.
At the same time, I remember there was a saying that my parents used to tell me a lot when I was younger, even still to present day. But basically, that correlates not only justice but also sincerity. Treat others how you want to be treated. Treat others with respect. They'll give you that respect back. If you treat them with disrespect, they'll treat you with disrespect in return.
Islam.
Whether other people see it or not.
That's right.
Islam. Great measure, sis.
That's right. That's right. It says, teach him sincerity, and his own heart shall not reproach him. Okay. There's a power in the eye, Moors. There's a power in the eye. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America teaches us that it says, what blindeth the eye and hideth the heart of a man from himself like vanity. Okay. So we do not want our eye to be blinded. We do not want our heart to forsake us or to reproach us, because now we become extremely vulnerable to the cares of the world. All right. And when you get caught up in the cares of the world, you can find yourself so sick. You can find yourself not knowing, how you're going to eat. You can find yourself eating out the garbage can. Okay. You could find yourself somewhere in a condition far worse than what man fears, commonly, which is death. All right. You could find yourself in a situation way worse than that when you are caught up in the cares of the world. I've been there. All right. And it happens like this. Because you are blind, because the heart has reproached you, you don't see it coming. You don't see it coming. All right. See, the heart allows for you to see through walls and to peep around corners. So when your heart reproaches you, then now you can't see through walls. You can't peep around corners. You can't hear the whispers. You can't hear the still small voice because you so caught up with the cares of the world. So sincerity guards us against this. Okay, this is important. All of us want to be as protected as possible. We don't want to go through this. We don't want to go through this crap, especially if we have tasted the fire before. We don't want to be burned again. Okay, so sincerity is what's going to protect us from this fire. Trust me, boys. We know it. All you got to do is look around at all of the people pretending to be what they're not. All right. Look at all of the people suffering from the crises, the European psychology. They don't know who they are. Look at what they go through. You understand what I'm saying? Look at what they go through. Because they can't be sincere. Sincere to what? They have nothing to latch on to, nothing to hold on to. So they holding on to things that's going to get taken away in the flood. I'm going to give you an example. It's in the Holy Quran. All right. Noah, in the Holy Quran, Noah had his whole family. Here, come on, get on the ark. The flood gonna come, but we're gonna be safe on this ark. Well, Noah had a son. And his son said, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to this mountain up here. I'm gonna hold on to this mountain and the flood just gonna pass me by. And Noah said, man, Allah said, get on this ark, man. His son said, no, Dad, I'm gonna hold on to this mountain. I'm gonna go to the top of this mountain and hold on. And he went up there and the flood came and it took him in the mountain.
Okay? Not listening.
So then Noah says to Allah, he cries, Allah, man, why did you get? And Allah says to Noah, if he was your son, he would have listened to you.
Islam.
Okay? If he was your son, he would have held on to your truth. All right?
Wow.
This is a metaphor. This is just an example. This is an example of what can happen to us. How in the world did he not hear? He didn't know who his father was. He didn't know that his father was the prophet of God. He'd been living his whole life with his father. He didn't see what his father was doing. He didn't see what his father was definitely doing it, but he was blinded. His heart had reproached him. He was not able to see it. All of them Asiatics that was there who saw the prophet, they eyes seen the prophet, but they couldn't recognize what the prophet was, so they didn't follow the prophet because they was blinded. Their heart had reproached them. Okay? Just like that doggone Pharaoh, when Moses came to him, his heart had reproached him, and the Bible said it was hard. He had a hard heart.
Just the
And
camel.
what happened?
Islam, just the camel off of that. Your grandma always told you this one line, and it just, it always stuck. She always said, a hard head make a soft butt.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That, like, and my grandma always say, when you don't hear, you feel. That was her favorite line. If you don't hear, you will feel. So that's just plain and simple as it gets. Islam.
Ricardo Bey must have felt that one because he had to come on the camera and shake his head in agreement to that one.
Islam. Grandma used to drill that one. She said, hard ears, you don't hear. One way, you just feel. And she said it in her accent too, Hard ears, you don't hear. Boy, we learn, man. We learn. We really learn.
Islam.
Allah.
Islam. Real.
Islam. All right. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence.
We just spoke on that.
And his mind shall be exalted. What is diligence? What is diligence?
To be persistent?
To be persistent. That's
right. Homework.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Is anything worth having easy to get?
Nah.
It never is.
It never is.
So if we want the things worth having, then we have to be diligent in order to get those things. Ain't that right?
Work hard to get it.
That's right. That's right.
Work hard to get it.
Now it didn't say that. It didn't say teach him diligence and he shall create wealth. It didn't say teach him diligence and he shall gain wealth. It said teach him diligence and his wealth shall increase.
So being consistent in your word and everything shall up.
All right. So all of the things, all of the treasures that Allah have already given us shall increase.
Correct.
Because it's important. It's important to remember that man holds deep within himself every attribute of God. Right? To develop them attributes, we have to be diligent. Okay? We have to be studious. We have to be industrious. All right? We have to employ resolution. Okay? We have to do this. We have to be firm in our desire to have those things worth having. All right? That's right. You ever see watch a boxing match and you see a fighter, and they be losing. Clearly you say, oh man, they losing. And then next thing you know, something changes. Something changes. They get faster. They start to hit harder. They start to be able to anticipate their opponent's movements. All right, something happens. Y'all know what causes that something to happen?
Diligence.
He
studied.
Despite the crisis, despite the pressure that's being applied, the mind, it rises to the challenge.
He studied the fighter.
Islam. He's being informed. by something that already knew the fighter. All right? Because that's what happened when we diligent. You start, diligence unlocks something that's in us. Remember, it said, and his wealth shall increase. So it was always there. All right. But we have to be diligent. Okay. When he says that the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, we still have to mine for those treasures. Those treasures don't just sit on the surface. Okay. We have to dig for those. Okay. But we have to be diligent because the soil is rocky. It's hard. So it's gonna take some work. You know what I mean? But we have to be diligent. There's a story. It talks about, in Think and Grow Rich. It talks about a man who bought a oil field. And, he didn't find no oil. So he sold all his tools and he sold his field, but he stopped 2 inches away. He gave up with 2 inches to go. 2 inches. Islam.
Islam.
It says, teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted. What is benevolence?
Benevolence is to be kind, to be helpful, to be charitable. It's a desire to do good and have goodwill.
That's right.
Well wisher.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Jesus exuded benevolence, didn't he?
Islam.
That's right. Jesus, it's a story in the book. It says that Jesus had 5,000 people listening to him speak, and he desired to feed them. Ain't that right?
Islam.
And he fed them.
He did.
All right. See, this is what happens. See, benevolence will make us create a way. All right. We will create a way. Being benevolent is more, because now my desire is not just to feed me, it's to feed us. So now I have to make a way to be able to feed us. Okay. The ability to create that way, it's in us. But again, our mind is exalted. What's in the mind?
The soul.
The mind is part of the soul. What's in the mind?
Your heart.
The heart and the mind are different, but they both parts of the soul. Chapter 5. What's in the mind?
Tools.
And the tools are in a what?
Workshop.
Workshop of the mind.
In the workshop. All right. So now the mind is exalted, which means that it's made better. It levels up. So now you ain't just a regular worker in the workshop. You an adept. You an expert. You skilled. Very skilled. So the things that you can produce in your workshop,
someone else probably can't.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. Right. So it says, teach him science, and his life shall be useful. Teach him religion, and his death shall be happy. Right? What that mean?
He'll probably know what Moorish. He'll know what science. I got.
Teach him science. What kind of science you teaching them though?
Moorish Science.
Islam. Say
gotta
that.
Be Moorish Science.
It gotta be Moorish
Got to
Science.
be. That's why I was sitting over here. I was gonna go that route, and I was like, let me fall back and listen first.
Hey, because that's what more scientists do, Mo. That's what more scientists do, Mo. We listen. We listen and we learn. Islam. So we teach them more science. We're not going, you can't use the European textbooks to solve.
And the way it'll be useful, he'll be able to teach everyone. Right.
That's right. That's right. He'll start to create ways for his own people.
Yes. Yeah, I caught that drift just now.
Islam.
It say teach him religion, and his death shall be happy. Why?
Because he knows what science is. He knows what Moorish Science is.
And he know death is no enemy to
And
man.
death is no enemy to man. You took the words right. There you go.
Death is no enemy
Just
to man.
got to it before I did.
He knows that he cannot die.
Yeah. And man can't die.
Islam, and we are taught that, when our job here is done, we'll go to the next plane of soul, which
That's
means
the ethic life.
we did our job right. So with us doing our job right, we gonna be happy. We ain't got to do it again. Islam.
It's thank for all men to reach the ethic life.
That's right. That's right. So Moors, we just climbed that 12-step ladder. Right? Now we know and understand, each step. Okay. A ladder is a tool, Moors. It's a tool. You use the ladder to reach things that are higher up. Okay. You also use the ladder to reach things that are beneath you. Okay, so we go up and down this ladder as need be. It's a tool and it's at your disposal. Use it. Okay, use it. Islam. 1 second.
Islam.
For everybody who watching on Facebook, Islam. Praise be to Allah. Honor to His Holy Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Islam sister Cleo Celine Bey, demonstrate.
There's a question I always want to ask when it comes down to religions. Like, I've never really necessarily been a religious person myself. The only one that I really seen that kind of caught my interest that wasn't like the rest compared to Christianity was Islam, for example. I even found out it was an acronym. Apparently, mean I, self, law, and master. Long time ago, but still trying to learn more about it, exactly how it works and operates.
Well, you came to the right place. We're going to teach you all about Islam. First and foremost, the first thing I want you to know and understand is that Islam is a very simple faith. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with oneself, one's God, and one's fellow creatures. It simply means peace, okay? Peace, creating harmony, all right? Generating balance in one's life and in one's self. That's what Islam is all about, right? The tenets of Islam, its precepts, you will learn as we go. And and the best way to truly learn Islam is as you hear these things and you learn these things and you start to process these things, to use them. Use them, test them. All right. The Prophet Noble Jew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the Prophet Noble Jew Ali said this. He said, investigate even I, your prophet. We are Moorish scientists. Science keep us from becoming superstitious in our religion.
Even he told you to do your diligence.
Be diligent. So Sister Celine Bey, test every instruction. Try it. All right?
And science too, so you know.
With that, I'm finna get ready to stop this live stream. Peace, Facebook. And then I'm gonna read the prophet's warning.